Everybody, and welcome to the Rocky and Derrick Show. If you like our interviews, please visit our website, rockyandderrickshow.com, and visit our photo and video galleries. Today, we're at Cheesecake by Alex with
Alex Amoroso, owner, Cheesecakes by Alex.
How long have you been owning them?
We started it in 2002, so 16 years. We're in our 16th year.
So what were you doing before we came? Like what was that?
Well, we were making bread doughs. Right behind me we have all kinds of doughs getting ready to proof, so we sell them at the farmer's market tomorrow. So we have brioche and sourdough and rye bread and all these dough that we'll cook overnight tonight for tomorrow. So that's what we've been working on tonight. No cheesecake, we do that in the morning.
Will we be able to sample some?
Not unless you want to be here at midnight.
We're going to be here at midnight,
right? So I seen you were putting the croissants and the square thing.
Yeah, the Danish.
And the thing. How do you get it into the shapes?
We have a machine over beside us, and it's called a sheeter that makes the dough for the croissant. And then you use like a pizza cutter, and you cut your shapes, and it's all knife work, and you fold your doughs. I mean, you can get creative with it, do different things.
Does it take a long time?
It takes a lot of time, and my son does a lot of that stuff during the day. So croissants are like, so many layers of dough and flour and butter. So it takes a lot of time to keep putting it back in the fridge so it doesn't melt. So it's a long process, but they're good.
Do you have members here?
Members? No, I mean, I've got staff, but everybody's a member.
Why did you call it Cheesecakes when it's like a lot of stuff?
Well, when I started, that's a good question. We started at the farmer's market, and it was with 4 flavors of cheesecakes. That's all I did. Oh. So that's why we came up with the name. And I opened the store with 4 flavors, and we've now gone up to 23, plus everything else that we do. And we did other things just because different times of the day, you're going to maybe want a muffin or a bagel or a slice of cake or something different, or if somebody doesn't like cheesecake, they can have something else. So, yeah, I don't understand it either, but.
Do you know how many flavors there is?
We have 23 flavors, and yeah, it's a lot. And we bake hundreds a day, different sizes.
Can you name some flavors?
All of them?
Some.
Some of the best is we have like New York, key lime, pumpkin, chocolate raz was those are our first 4. Then we added simply chocolate and peanut butter and Kahlua and sweet potato, and apple, white chocolate raspberry, mint chocolate chip. There's a lot of them to choose from. Creme brulee, which is really popular, it's a vanilla. Everybody loves that one. Regular chocolate chip, also really good. Cookies and cream. And we can go on.
How do you get the flavors into the thing, the pastry? It's in the cheesecakes. It's easy. We make a base, and then we'll flavor it the way we want it to taste. Adding melted chocolate or Kahlua, we add the liqueurs into it, or flavorings. We get our flavorings locally from like Mother Murphy's, so like our vanillas and our mints and that kind of stuff. And you just kind of work it into your doughs and your batters before you bake. Yeah.
Oh, do you think you might change the name of the place in the future?
Never. It'll always be Cheesecakes by Alex. Although my son does a lot of the baking now, and his name is Tim, so maybe it'll be Cheesecakes by Alex and Son.
So, if you like start getting older, do you want to like?
If I start getting older,
Well, do you want to? Yeah, in the future. There you go. There you go, Rocky. Do you want to like hire a cooking staff instead of doing it by yourself, or not by yourself? But
we do. We have a few people that work. I mean, my son, he's pretty much the head baker during the day. I work on Friday nights to do the breads and stuff for the market, but we have a staff during the day that does a lot of the majority of the baking, and we'll add bakers as we go along. I mean, we'll put a second shift on if we have to.
Do you ever think that you might need like to start hiring more people?
Yeah, all the time. I mean, you know, we have a lot of college employees that work for us, and so they'll be here for a few years, and then they go home or graduate and move on, and we'll hire new staff. I mean, it's sad to see them go, but it's always fun to bring new people in. You know, it's always a little bit of a challenge sometimes.
huh?
We're going to start working here with Cheesecakes.
Only thing about your stuff. But but do you want to like expand? Like if you were to expand by like having more Cheesecakes by Alex around, would you? How far would you want to go? Like locally or like globally?
Well, probably not globally, but I mean, we travel like central North Carolina now, and we're going to expand because we serve restaurants too. So we sell our product to different restaurants in town and out of town. And we're getting ready to go like all the way to the coast with that. So we'll continue to expand that. We may open up a store like in Winston-Salem. We'll keep it. I guess you would consider it more local. You know, if we open stores, it'd be maybe North and South Carolina, that kind of thing.
Do you or will you start doing deliveries?
We do some. We have a website, and you can order from that. And we ship all over the country for that. And then we do some local deliveries for people during the holidays and during, you know, if somebody got a birthday or something, we try to help them out as much as we can. Yeah.
Have you been baking here the whole time, or did you have like other people doing it?
When we started the business, I did all the baking, and then as we grew, we hired people to come in and bake and trained them, and they took over the baking so I could run the business. Now my son does probably 99% of the baking, and I just come in at night to do stuff for the farmers markets. Yeah. So I'm kind of in the office side of it now versus doing the baking on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
So like, do you get to come in here anytime?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you make yourself a schedule yourself?
Well, yeah, I'm in here every morning during the week. I try to take some time off on the weekends, but I pretty much come in whenever I need to. It's usually not the idea of working less when you're a business owner and you've been doing it a while. You tend to work more hours, or there's more office work, or you go see customers or whatnot, you know. So, but I can go and if I need to. I have a farm and I can kind of go if I need to go.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Have you known how to bake your whole life?
I've cooked my whole life, and I started out in restaurants when I was 15, so I was mopping floors working with my dad, and I grew up in the business, so I've always cooked. I didn't start baking until we opened this business for a profession. I mean, I always cooked at home and baked some stuff, breads and cakes and that kind of thing. I didn't do a lot of it, though. When I was in restaurants, I worked on the line, so, you know, I was a sous chef, so we worked and did, you know, regular dinners and stuff like that, and grill work. But the baking just took off here. And it was nice. It was a nice change of pace.
What made you decide that you wanted to have your own, wait, what is this restaurant? Store, restaurant.
Bakery, coffee shop, all the above. I mean, I've always liked the idea of working for myself and then having staff that works with me. It just kind of happened. It's kind of one of those things that we saw an opportunity and we just said, why not, you know? And we just started it to see what would happen. And it grew from there. Yeah.
Were you ever discouraged in the beginning of your business? Like, was business like not working out?
You know, you always have moments where you kind of question yourself whether it was the best decision or not. I mean, there's ups and downs in the first few years. I remember in the first year, there was a few nights we didn't do any business, and my wife and I would say, you know, maybe we made a mistake. But, you know, you hang in there, and you start to develop things, you develop clients, and business gets better and better and better, and you know. So yeah, sure. Everybody questions themselves from time to time. You just gotta, stay on your path.
Would you let people, like, if they couldn't choose which cheesecake they wanted or something, would you let them try it for like a little sample?
Sure, we do samples of the cheesecakes because there's so many and you may not know, and especially when there's a lot of different cheesecakes out there. Some taste different than others, or maybe drier, or so it's always good to sample them. Yeah.
Do you know how much money you make a day?
On average, I know how much money we make a day or per person. We don't do too bad. We pay the bills.
Is it fair amount?
It's not too bad.
Was this bakery always like, you just every day walk past it and you seen it was nothing there and you decided to just like make it into your own?
Well, when we first started baking, we were going to bake from home because in North Carolina, or at least here, you're allowed to bake at home. But we had pets, so we weren't allowed to do it from the house because you had pets. And there was a bakery in this little spot that moved out, and I knew the space. So yeah, so we talked to them. We didn't really want to do it in the beginning because it's a lease, and it was a big commitment. But we just decided why not? We just took a chance. Yeah.
What was the people that used to work here?
There was a bakery called Simple Needs that was here for about a year, and they moved down the street. This was a long time ago. And then years ago, this whole place used to be a place called Characters. It was a restaurant, and everybody dressed up as different famous characters like Humphrey Bogart and Marilyn Monroe and things like that. So that's kind of cool history about it. And they said when Elvis, before that, the parking lot next door used to be a theater called the National Theater. And they said when Elvis was first starting out, that he would come in through the door, which is right here. And one of our customers has a picture of it. So when he was young and just starting out, he would come through this. This was the backstage door to go to the stage at National Theater. So a lot of history in the buildings.
How long did it take for business to be like constant?
Not long. I mean, I started it part-time, and I was working my regular job. And about 3 months into that, I had to leave that job because I was spending all night here and then working that during the day. So I guess about 3 months for me to have to leave my job. But then I would say probably, 5 or 6 years to really know the business had gone through all its different changes and has gotten a big enough customer base that we kind of knew where things were going to go. So it takes a while to kind of feel comfortable with where you're at, But yeah.
Are you always open?
7 days a week, just not in the middle of the night. We close at 10 or 11, depending on the day, and then we open in the mornings at 7:30.
Do you have any secret ingredients or recipes in your?
Well, if I did, you couldn't know. It's a secret.
But do you?
Well, I don't know if it's a secret. I think there are more techniques that are kind of the way we do things are different than others, and But we have our own methods and on the way we make stuff. It's kind of really going back in the old-fashioned ways, really. We kind of didn't reinvent the wheel. We just decided to make things the way our grandparents would make things, with the real fresh ingredients and that kind of stuff, and buying local as much as we can, and it kind of just works out.
How can people get in contact with you?
They can go to the website and email us from there at cheesecakesbyalex.com. They can call us. Our number's 336-273-0970. Or they can stop by the store. We're 315 South Elm Street here in Greensboro.
In your own words, what advice would you give the kids?
If you have a dream, don't ever give up on it. Continue to follow it. There's going to be roadblocks along the way, but don't lose your focus.
That's it for today, guys. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and if you want to become a sponsor, go to our website, rockyderrickshow.com. Go to our channel on YouTube, Family Fun Channel 9.
Sure.